Hello again. In this video, we are going to talk about presentations and how you can be a more effective and powerful presenter. Now, we usually think about presentations as being in front of a large group of people and having our PowerPoint slides and presenting in that format. Well, for our purposes today, my definition of a presentation is anytime you are required to present information to another person, okay? So that really can include a large group presentation with a PowerPoint at a conference. It can include just a small group presentation, formal or informal. And it can also include just an introduction or a one-on-one conversation with one other individual or a colleague or a manager. Okay, so we're going to talk about how it can be a little bit more, how we can be much more powerful in our presentations. Now, the key to a powerful presentation is organization. Okay, that's what sets apart leaders and sets you apart as someone unique. If you have the communication skills necessary and that you're organized in such a way, it will set you apart. Okay, so what we're talking about today in presentations is how to be organized in the way you present information. Because it doesn't matter how clear your pronunciation is if your thoughts and ideas are disorganized. So we've talked a lot about the presentation, how clear you can be in your speech and how clear you can be in your communication. And part of that is being organized in your thoughts and your ideas so that you're communicating that clearly to your audience. So let's talk about a well-organized presentation. Okay, a well-organized presentation is easier to understand. Not only is it easier for your listener in terms of just understanding the words that you're saying, but it's easier to understand the structure, the format, where you're going with your presentation and why they're listening to you. Okay, so it's easier to understand for your audience. The more organized you are, the easier it is to understand. It's also easier for your audience to remember what you're saying. The structured outline, the organized structure of your presentation allows them to remember, okay, here's the information that was delivered, and here's how I can organize it in my head so that I can remember what they had to say. Okay? A well-organized presentation is more credible. The more organized you are, the more credible you sound. Contrast that with someone who stands up in front of the audience and has very disorganized thoughts and ideas and is just jumping from one idea to the next without some real cohesive order to it. You're not going to perceive that person as very credible or that they know what they're talking about. Okay, so that organized structure really does bring more credibility. And it's more enjoyable for your audience. You've probably been in a situation where the presenter is not very well organized, and then it just becomes difficult to listen to this presentation or to sit through the presentation that this person is giving. So, but a well-organized presentation, it's easy to follow, it's easy to understand, and becomes more enjoyable to your audience. Okay? So a lot of benefits to being organized in your presentation. So let's talk about how we can be organized, or how you can be more organized in your presentations. Let's talk about the basic structure of a well-organized presentation or a speech. And again, I want you to take your mind away from just a presentation in front of a large group and think, okay, small group, one-on-one, big group. All of these situations where you're presenting information to another person. There is a common structure that's talked about in presentation and speeches that says, tell them what you're going to tell them, and then tell them what you just told them. Okay, so tell them what you're going to tell them. That is talking about the introduction and introducing the topic. Tell them talks about kind of the main points that you're giving. And then tell them what you just told them is summarizing what you discussed, and it also includes a call to action usually.